Hey everyone, what's up? While I was on my never-ending search for fun movies to watch and cool games to play, I stumbled upon VampireHunterD. Originally a novel in 1983, VampireHunterD has expanded to comprise like 41 novels, 2 movies, a video game, some comic books, some mangas, a whole bunch of stuff. So when I found VampireHunterD, I thought this is perfect for me, and I decided to watch the movies. These movies are kind of crazy and weird and strange, and they're interesting enough that I want to tell you all about them. Not everything about these movies is good. In fact, some of it is quite bad, but we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it, I promise. Also, this is your official spoiler warning, which I'm giving because my brother said it would be a good idea to. So the first one is called VampireHunterD, and it was made in 1985. We are first introduced to Doris, the daughter of a werewolf hunter who died, and she's out hunting beasts when she's preyed upon by an ancient noble vampire, which sets up the whole crux of the movie. Doris is infected by this vampire, he wants to make her his bride, and she hires a vampire hunter to stop him. The vampire hunter in question is named D. He is a Dhampir, half man, half vampire, who hunts vampires for mysterious and undisclosed reasons. D agrees to help Doris and they head into town to gather some supplies. While in town, Doris is outed as a vampire victim and the mayor wants to throw her into some sort of horrible jail. However, the Doctor and Hunter D convince the mayor to let him go rack off and try and kill the vampire. Okay, so now that we've sort of established the plot, I just want to jump back and quickly talk about something kinda sus. While Doris is trying to convince Vampire Hunter D to take her on as a client, she offers herself up, which is very off-putting to happen 10 minutes into the movie, and there's a variety of infantilization and sexualization of Doris that occurs across the flick. Nothing truly diabolical occurs in the movie, but it's not good. Let's not pretend it's good. You take the good with the bad with these old movies, and the portrayal of women in this film is definitely bad. Luckily, in Bloodlust later, we have some much stronger female characters, but still, gotta call that stuff out here because it does suck and it is a tad uncomfortable to watch at times. This sort of thing is not super uncommon in Japanese anime, unfortunately. And in this movie, we see another classic Japanese anime trope, which is a terrible English dub. Anybody who knows Japanese anime knows that the older ones especially can be really hit or miss with their dubs, and this movie is no exception. It's full of melodramatic voice performances and overacting, but one of my favorite lines comes from Doris's little brother, specifically the way he keeps referring to Vampire Hunter D as Mr. D.
Mr. D! I'm scared!
Bastard.
And later in the movie, there's a plot point involving a MacGuffin called the Time Bewitching Incense. Don't use the Time Bewitching Incense on me. Oh geez, I got him with the Time Bewitching Incense. And there's goofy lines in this, man. The dialogue ain't good. After they go into town, Vampire Hunter D and Doris hold out at her farm, her cyber farm with lasers, where they're attacked by a mutant and the Countess's daughter, who Vampire Hunter D swiftly owns and schools and kicks him out of there, takes his hand. It's pretty cool. This sets up my favorite part of the movie, which is Dee's infiltration of Count Lee's castle. In this section, we see my favorite thing about the first movie, which is the world design. Count Lee's castle is immensely proportioned and full of a strange variety of demons and mutants. And this dreamlike world design is supported by the fairy tale-esque narrative logic, where the bits and pieces don't necessarily fit together. There's not a logical sequence of how the guy moves from place to place and where he goes, and he goes up a hill and he goes down a hill. If he needs to be somewhere, man, he's just there now. And that works really well with these bordering on surrealist landscapes that Hunter D moves through. Later in the movie, he walks through this area that it looks like it's straight out of the Forbidden Planet or Star Wars or something. Anyway, the plot continues from here on, alternating between Vampire Hunter D being captured, Doris being captured, them escaping, being recaptured, yada yada. It doesn't really go too many places, and it ultimately ends up in a showdown between Count Magnus and Hunter D, in which it's revealed that Hunter D is the son of Dracula, the sacred ancestor, which is kind of cool, kind of explains why he's brokenly powerful and can do whatever he likes. But yeah, after the Big bad vampire is killed. Hunter D rides off into the sunset like a cowboy. And that's the end of the movie. So what are my thoughts on it? Well, it's only an hour and 20 minutes long, which is kind of too short. This is meant to be a book adaptation, so it really does feel super cramped and tight as a movie. Plot is pretty shoddy. The dialogue, especially in the dub, is really bad. The shape of the movie is not good. It's just lumpy and weird, but it's cool, man. I like it. This is a strange anime oddity, and if you like that, you will like this. Sometimes it's a bit of a tough watch, and there's some sus stuff in there like we talked about, but the art design and these really cool 80s anime moments, we're not getting that again. There's a finite amount of those things out there. For some reason, moments like that just really make me light up, and I really love it when I see a ghoul getting stomped by a weird vampire in an 80s anime movie. I like it a lot, man. I see a guy's head explode. Maybe I'm a complete freak beast for that, but so what, dude? I'm good. That's who I am, man. I can't lie to you. This is my life. But would I recommend that you watch it? No, I wouldn't recommend it. You got to make that choice for you. I'm not going to tell you to go watch it. But a movie that I will tell you to go watch is Vampire Hunter Bloodlust. Bloodlust came out in the year 2000, 15 years after the first movie, and is loosely based on the third novel in the series. From the opening shots of this movie, you can already tell that this is a lot higher fidelity than the original. You can just tell a difference. I'll side by side them right now, and this is a world of difference. That's 15 years apart. The visual style of Bloodlines reminds me a lot more of maybe Vash the Stampede in Trigun. There's got a Cowboy Bebop thing going on too. Hellsing Ultimate as well is another good comp here. That sort of world of anime, this is similar to. So let's jump into the movie. The story of Bloodlines is actually very similar to Hunter D 85. Charlotte, a beautiful woman, has been abducted by the vampire Maya Link, who wants to make her his bride. The big wrinkle in this film that the first one didn't have is that the people who hire Hunter D to go after this woman are her family. But according to the vampire who captured her, the woman went freely with him. But isn't that a cool wrinkle? What if this woman really is with him by her own choice? What does that mean for the hunt? Can you take away her own autonomy and bring her back to safety because vampires are pretty dangerous? Or is it up to her to love this vampire or not? So as Vampire Hunter D goes on his quest, he's in competition with another hunter group, the Marcus family. And this is another really great addition that the movie makes. Having another group that functions alongside Hunter D adds more. In the original film, there's really maybe no characters in the movie, right? There's no time to flesh out any characters. Hunter D is strong and silent. He doesn't have a lot of dialogue. He has a lot more in the second movie, but even then, it wouldn't be enough to carry the whole emotion of the film. So, the introduction of the Marcus family brings in a whole cast of characters, sort of, a group of Dungeons and Dragons-esque travelers who are going to fight the vampires, and they can bring a lot of different energies into the film to give diversity and shape to the narrative. And that's exactly what they do. There's some funny moments, some goofy moments, there's some serious moments, there's some sad moments provided by these group of hunters. And if you'll recall, in the first movie, I talked about how Doris was sort of infantilized. Well, Layla in Bloodlust is a vampire hunter who works with the Marcus family. And she's actually empowered a lot throughout the film, and she's kind of the emotional center of it a lot of times. Now, this might be an interesting time to mention that this movie is a Western co-production sort of situation. It was made for American audiences and originally only released in the English language version. So in targeting the Western audience in the year 2000, maybe the politics of the movie and the gender representation are a little bit different. Anyway, as the story progresses, Dee and the Marcus family are both hunting after Maya Link. One of my favorite sections is when they track him to what they call a day house, which is this big reflective cube with laser eyes on it where Maya Link stays during the day to stay out of the sunlight. The scale that things exist in this universe is amazing, and it leverages one of my favorite things about animation, which is You don't have to buy the sets. There's a 2001 anime movie called Metropolis. It's loosely based on the original film. And the scale of that movie is just ginormous. And it's something you can't do with any other medium. Like, you just can't do it. So why not do it where you can do it? It's brilliant. A moment that really comes to mind is when we get to the castle at the end of the movie. That thing looks ridiculous, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. As Dee and the Marcus brothers continue to hunt down Maya Link, they encounter the ancient clan known as the Barbaroi, a hodgepodge group of mutants and demons that the hunters have to fight through. They prove to be no substantial challenge for Dee though, as he has to face a more insidious threat. In a funny sort of B-C plot, Hunter D is the victim of sort of prejudice when he comes to a small town and tries to buy a horse. The sheriff tells him, "Get out of here. We don't serve your kind," which is, I don't even know if that's a thinly veiled metaphor, right? But the old man who runs the shop stands up for Hunter D because 100 years ago or 50 years ago, Hunter D was in that town and saved the old man when he was a child from vampires. And yeah, this is actually an interesting through line in the movie where Vampire Hunter D is experiencing this prejudice, but he kind of sort of agrees with it because he hunts vampires, and we'll see he believes all vampires are evil, bloodthirsty, and incapable of changing their ways. But it's sort of at odds with the idea that you shouldn't be prejudiced against him because of his race, because he hates his own race so much that he thinks they should all die. This idea will come back during the climax of the film, so we'll just pause that here for now. After Dee gets his new horse, he finally comes face to face with Charlotte, the damsel in distress, only to find out that she is in fact in love with Maya Link. However, the hunt is not off. Dee believes that this love cannot be legitimate and Charlotte must have been somehow tricked, and the Marcus brothers don't really care either way and still want the money. However, Charlotte escapes them and Dee is left to fight some freaky mutants. This moment is also where we have one of the most emotional sequences of the film. Layla and Dee have a conversation about Layla's past, her dead parents, and her grudge against vampires. So they sort of become friends, which is cool. But if they move on and reach the castle, I just want to stop for a second and admire this. I brought it up earlier, but this castle, oh, it looks so good. I like this movie a lot, and here's like one of the biggest reasons. I just think it is incredible to enter into this fictional designed world that could never exist in reality. I don't know, it makes my mind go tingly. I like it a lot. As Charlotte and Maya Link reach this castle, it's revealed that their purpose here is to get on a spaceship, I think to go to the moon, where there's no daylight and they can be together forever. That's kind of sweet. I think it's maybe insanely stupid, but kind of funny. I mean, you're gonna get on a gothic looking spaceship and go to the moon. I don't know, I'm not in love with that plot point, but they do it. The vampiress who is supposedly helping Maya Link and Charlotte get to the moon, named Camilla, turns out to be the real big bad of the movie because she just wants to kill Charlotte, use her blood to resurrect herself, and then screw everybody off and reign as an evil, bloodlusted vampire for forever. However, Dee is a little overpowered and uses his mega vampire magic on Camilla and sends her back to the Shadow Realm. Unfortunately, Charlotte does die, but Maya Link decides to take her body to the moon anyway. I'm not exactly sure why, but he does do that. Hunter D kind of agrees that Maya Link loves Charlotte enough to be allowed to keep her dead body and go to the moon with it, because maybe vampires are capable of love, and then Hunter D does not kill him, which sort of indicates that he thinks he might be kind of a good guy, but he's maybe only okay with it because he's gonna go to the moon. So the conclusion is kind of like their love should be allowed, and Layla in the end is even rooting for the spaceship to get to the moon. Ultimately, this is a movie about Vampire Hunter D trying to save a woman who doesn't want to be saved, and then he goes home. Is it the biggest plot and character masterpiece of all time? Does it rival The Sopranos? Oh no, obviously it doesn't, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and it's brought up heaps by the design elements. I think this is a beautiful, gorgeous movie. I think that the character designs are amazing. I think that the fights they engage with are pretty cool, but I love the world design. I love the set pieces, the big buildings, the strange locations. And because this movie has, pretty decent plot and good characters, I would recommend this movie to you. After the 2000 movie, there are no more Vampire Hunter D movies. The Vampire Hunter D franchise has been a little cursed in recent times. There were a lot of Kickstarters to do with a comic book series that came out that's been in trouble. There was meant to be a television series that's been in trouble. For now, I wouldn't guess that there'll be another Vampire Hunter D movie anytime soon, but we should be grateful that we even have 2 good movies. One really good one and one pretty cool one. You don't just get those for free, so that's awesome. There's also apparently a 1999 PS1 video game for Vampire Hunter D that looks to be pretty bad. But I love the art style of it, I love the design, so I was thinking maybe I cover that in a future video. Who knows? If you guys like this one, let me know, and maybe a few months down the line we'll do the Vampire Hunter D game. But for now, thanks for watching, and bye-bye. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. This was a really fun one to make, so I hope you liked it. And I just wanted to thank all my Patreon supporters. So we have Vladislav Antonenko, Chris Spensive, Nork426, Ashro, Dave, Andrew McTaggart, Mark David, Rima, Thomas Cooliz, Deliverator, Star 1120, Robert Alex, The Ore Baron, Butterjam Jimbo, Corey Kraushaar, Brimst, Van Borner, Forrest Parent, Lucas Fyodorchuk, and my mum. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.